Mr. Glow, that how they are managing in the changing business environment. Then after that, very interesting session, performance management system. And all of you know how difficult it is. Generally, we know that no system is perfect. One of my colleagues, he has kept a bell in his desk. Whenever this PLI is declared, he will come and say, bell. What happened? Bell curve. I have been affected by bell curve. So he will show me the bell. So I said, what is this? He said, yeah, bell maar diya. So whether to have bell curve or not, it is a question. So any performance management system is not perfect and it needs to be revised, revisited, reviewed with the changing business environment. No single prescription exists. That is where we decided to have a panel discussion. My senior colleague, Mr. Rai Jadhav, is going to have this session with the 4 panelists. And intentionally we decided to have representation from different groups. Like Mr. Samir Pingle, he is from Nirma. Why he is working with Cipla? But he has a background of working with consultancy firms. Because as a consultant, when they design performance management system suiting to any organization, how do they keep the things in view? And of course, Mr. Ganesh Jiwani, representing Matrix Telecom, very big organization in Baroda, all of you know. So we will have people from different backgrounds, representing different work. They will be with us for about 1 hour, sharing with us their perspective on performance management system. Because this is a tool which helps the organization in achieving internal objectives and external objectives and its alignment. Unless it is handled properly, it can misfire. Therefore, it has become very important that whatever performance management system you have helps you to adopt in the changing business environment. Thereafter, we are going to discuss very important issue, last but not the least, on employee relations. We know things are changing fast. One of my workmen came to me 3 days before. Sir, आपको सैलरी दे दोगे, निकालेंगे कैसे? पैसा तो मिलता नहीं है. So it has become higher problem for many employers. अब employer क्या करे? वो अपना पैसा नहीं इस्तेमाल करा, दूसरे का कहाँ से लाएगा? So this is the problem. So anything happening outside can create IR problem for you. Therefore, you need to have a proactive employee relations approach, because anything going wrong on employee relations will disturb your production schedule, will disturb your productivity, will bring bad name to the organization. There we are seeking the help of Thermex Limited. Mr. Sharad Gagal is going to share with us the success story of employee relations in Thermex, which has been witnessing many of the IR issues being placed in Pune, but they have been successfully managing it. My other colleague, Mr. Dilip Patnaik, my ex-colleague from Reliance, IPCL, and now with Vedanta Group, he is heading HR at Hindustan Zinc Limited or at Udaipur. Hindustan Zinc Limited has also seen many changes from public sector to private sector, and they are doing in employee relations very well. He is going to share with us his success stories, how they are proactively managing the employee relations at Hindustan Zinc Limited. This is some and substance of today's agenda. I'm sure all of you are going to learn a lot of things, and in the evening you go back, you will say yes. Singh Saab ne jo bola tha 19th November, remember karenge. It is worth remembering. That is all from our side. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for the versatile experience in domains of people management, change management, and leadership. He has worked in senior management and board roles in diverse industries like manufacturing, services, FMCG, infrastructure, and retail. Passionate about people, a voracious reader, fond of poetry and music, indulged in numerous doodling, calligraphy, and loves public speaking. For him, learning is a continuous investment. Being an appreciative coach, he believes, no fun, no learn. So please put your hands together for none other than the dynamic and versatile personality, Mr. Adil Malia. Presently, Mr. Malia serves as the Group President of Asia, the Middle East and the US. Mr. Malia joined SR from Coca-Cola India, where he was heading the HR function from India and Southwest Asia. He started his career at Godrej Group, followed by GE Appliances in India and US as General Manager, HRD and IR. Prior to Coca-Cola, he served as a Group General Manager, HRD at Al Futtaim Sons for their Middle East operations. At SR, he is responsible for human resources strategy, policies and programs for the entire group and plays a critical role in providing vision and leadership to the HR function to deliver on the group's strategic and operating goals. He has a bachelor's degree in commerce as well as law and master's degree in personnel management and industrial relations from TISC. So, we welcome you and we are delighted to have you among us.
Gentlemen out here and people on the board, my friends sitting out there, it is indeed my pleasure to be invited to give this keynote address. 3 words are today very difficult for me, because I certainly do not seem to be having the key to the mind locks that you may have put for yourself. I certainly am very scared of the word notes in an area which is right now demonetized in the currency market. So I don't have the notes. And certainly by now you are aware that I have left my job, as a consequence of which I don't have an address. So I really don't know how to give you this keynote address. But I will try within whatever is available and known to me on the basis of my knowledge and experience to share with you what I really think about this subject of how do you do this complex people management in a far more complex world which is changing at a pace that you don't know. But before that, I certainly want to share with you a very beautiful quote of Fayaz, which is very relevant in the context. He says, अब रंजिशों से उलझने का बनाए रखिए हौसला. रंजिश, conflicts, fights. अब रंजिशों से उलझने का बनाए रखिए हौसला, क्योंकि बदलती हवा ही करती है चिरागों का फैसला. We are living in a world where the shimmer of the spark is not determined by the shimmer by itself, but by its ability to stand and continue shimmering against the force of the blowing winds. The winds of change that are coming are such that unless and until the spark has the ability to bear the blow of the wind, it will not survive. It is in this world that we need to remember that we are living in a world of what the economists say is a world of punctuated equilibrium. What does that mean? Millions of years of evolution of mankind, and if you get into the history of that, thousands of years you will see change happening in the history, but at a very slow pace. So therefore, if you were to draw a graph of that slow pace, it will go like something like this: slow, 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 changes happening, slow, 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 changes are happening. And then millions of years of such slow growth comes across a wedge. And in that wedge, so many changes happen that by the time you realize something is happening, a new thing is happening, a change. And then again, around millions of years, when a predominant technology emerges during this period, around that new technology, millions of years of slow change happens. And that is the wedge in which new technologies are defined. When you say Stone Age, Iron Age, Paper Age, those are ages which created those wedges around which new technologies at that point of time developed. And the peculiarity is that those technologies initially come in the way in which people create their livelihood and slowly permeates into the life of people, such that the digital world which we thought was going to make life easy at work, today is the technology you will use at home when you are driving close to your house and you are calling up the Internet of Things and telling your air conditioner, communicating with your air conditioner, please go back to my desired temperature of 23 by the time I come to work. And that's when changes are happening. What are the things that you will see that happens during this wedge? And that's when you say shifting of the paradigm, it is during this paradigm that the entire shift of things is happening. When paradigms change, everything becomes zero. All the things, processes, programs, procedures, period of time prior to the veg, all become zero. Unmatchable speed, uncertain situations, disruptive changes, unpredictable future, ambiguity all around, and those who learn how to thrive on chaos and succeed in the veg are the people who will lead for millions of years thereafter in the period that follows the period of veg. And that is why it is called the period of punctuated decay. Punctuated by a veg in which those changes are happening at a very fast pace, followed by millions of years of steady state growth. It's funny. ये मंजिल के काफिले भी कुछ ऐसे हैं, हम वक्त वहीं से गुजरते हैं जहाँ रास्ते नहीं। Just when you have got the answer, someone has changed the question. Just when you have found the key, you will find that someone has not only changed the lock but has changed the door itself. Just when you thought you have come out of the depression and the downturn and you have found equation to your working capital, someone goes and demonetizes the currency. And that's the situation that we are going to continue to face. Look at this, and we believe this is theory, we believe that this is very good to stand up on stages and give speeches, and these are good episodes to talk about, but look at what has happened in the last 6 months in our lives. And you will realize that this change that we are talking about and the pace of uncertainty that we are talking about is not theory, it is hitting you without your realization. Look at last 6 months. How many of you would have believed that Britain, the propounder of the European Union, would walk itself and elect itself out of Brexit? How many would have believed that Tata Sons would have actually thrown out the chairman of Tata Sons? How many of you have really believed a few weeks ago that Trump could become the president of America? And how many of you would believe that after 50 years in the world, India will become the third country in the world only to demonetize 85% of its existing currencies? These are therefore the real fast-paced changes that are hitting you. It is not theory, VUCA is not theory, VUCA is hitting you. Please wake up, don't be a Rip Van Winkle who goes to sleep, because if you are a Rip Van Winkle who goes to sleep and wakes up after 20 years, I promise you, all the king's horses and all the king's men cannot put that Humpty Dumpty back again. You've lost your time. Let us look at the 6 critical elements of what economic value creation activity in the market happens and see what the changes are. What are the 6 elements that you normally say are the value creating activities? You talk about what is a market, you talk about ownerships, you talk about competition, you talk about supply chain, you talk about money as a currency of exchange. And now let us see what is happening on all of these 6 fronts to say that if these 6 fronts are changing, then how can people, the prime value creator of value in a commercial transaction, continue to be managed in the same way when the 6 basic elements of what operates in the market itself is changing at a different pace? Let's look at the boundary. You define a market physically. Generally, there are multiple ways to define a boundary or a market, but generally accepted norm is a physical or a geographic place around which your customers lie, around which you do the value creation activity. But now look at what's happening. The vodka you drink is Russian. The car you drive is German. Of course, you don't drink in Gujarat. That's a different story. Of course, you do drink. The car you drive is German. The vodka you drink is Russian. The pizza you eat is Italian. The kebabs you eat is Turkish. The coffee you drink at Starbucks is Brazilian. The shirt you wear is Bangladeshi. The oil you get is Saudi Arabian. And let me shock by saying that if someone is wearing a Banarasi sari, it is not made in India, it is made in China. 47% of Banarasi saris in India are made in China, unknown to you. And that is the pace at which the markets are breaking their barriers and coming into a new zone where geography is not the definition of the market. So let's look at it. Market as a concept is changing. Let's look at the other concept of ownership, because we always believe that people who are doing business should own the businesses and the assets that generate the value. Let's look at what's happening in the world. Uber, the largest taxi company, does not own a single taxi. Airbnb, the largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate in the world. Skype, the largest telephone company, has no infrastructure in the world. Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, has no inventory at all. Apple and Google, who are the largest vendors of software, do not write any applications. So it is no longer true, as the market is opening, for the largest players or even the middle players